Cheers. Wow, refreshing. Water, H2O. Such a simple molecule, but key to life. Now in this lesson, you're going to learn more about the structure of water. You're going to learn about something called hydrogen bonding and what properties of water make it so useful to living organisms. H2O, so simple, two hydrogens and an oxygen. But due to the arrangement of the electrons, it means water is what we call a polar molecule. It means it's slightly charged. The oxygen is a little bit negative and the hydrogen is a little bit positive. And we show this using the symbol delta. So we've got the delta negative on the oxygen and the delta positives on the hydrogen. Now this may not seem like such a big deal, but it actually means that water molecules can interact with each other, forming these things called hydrogen bonds. So these are weak bonds that are broken and reformed all the time as water molecules move around when it's in its liquid form. But the hydrogen bonds give water some incredible properties which life depend on. And we're going to look at 5 of them in this lesson. The first one is the fact that it makes water a polar solvent. Okay, lots and lots of things will dissolve in water. Therefore, it's fantastic for chemical reactions. They can happen dissolved in water in solution. And that's why we use it also for transport with examples like the blood and in the xylem for plants. Water also has a very high specific heat capacity. Now what that means is that it takes a lot of energy relatively to heat up water by 1 degree. It takes a lot of energy to change the temperature of water. This is fantastic in biology because what it means is large bodies of water, lakes, ponds, rivers, seas, they don't heat up that much. They don't change temperature that much during the day, which means they make a very stable environment for living organisms, aquatic organisms to live there. Okay, and this is to do with the hydrogen bonds. This is to do with the huge numbers of hydrogen bonds that water has between all the molecules. They may be weak individually, but collectively it's a huge amount of energy to break these bonds. It makes it very, very stable. Number 3, also related to the hydrogen bonding, is something called surface tension. You've ever seen a droplet of water form as it drips off a tap? You will have seen that surface tension, or the way you get a meniscus on a cup of water. If you keep filling it and keep filling it, it will form that meniscus. Organisms make use of this surface tension, which is caused by hydrogen bonding at the surface, such as the pond skaters, which you will see skimming around on the surface, and other things like water lilies, which have their leaves floating on the surface there. It also helps with the transport of water in plants, this idea of surface tension and the way that water molecules almost cling together to each other. It's what we call cohesion. The 4th thing is incompressibility. Now water is a liquid and therefore it cannot be compressed, and biological organisms can make use of this. Okay, for example, spiders, in the legs of spiders, they have hydraulic mechanisms which rely on this incompressibility in water. The 5th thing is the maximum density at 4 degrees C. What does that mean? Well, it means that when you cool water, it actually gets less dense. Normally, when you cool liquids and they turn to solids, they become more dense, they sink. But when you cool water down below 4 degrees C and it starts freezing and you get to 0 and it's frozen and forms solid, forms an ice, the ice floats, which is unusual. Now, why to do this? Well, this is because of the arrangement of the hydrogen bonding. When you cool the molecules down, they stop moving so much. The hydrogen bonds can form a more regular sort of lattice structure and push the individual molecules slightly further apart from each other, which creates a bigger volume, therefore less dense. So actually ice floats. Why is that good for organisms? Well, organisms that live on the ice can live on top and it creates an environment for them, but also underneath the ice, the water liquid is maintained for organisms that live underneath the ice. There we go. Water, a simple molecule, but crucial to life.